until the end, until the final blow of the whistle, sound of the horn. We will fight, we will conquer, emerge victorious. We are the champions. Nah.
The opening leg to Lisbon in the Volvo Ocean Race was a short hop compared to the 45,000 miles that lay ahead. But it was a stressful one for the teams. The scramble to get out of the Mediterranean after the start from Alicante saw the fleet stick together. But Vestas 11th Hour Racing were happy to break from the pack. And their early confidence paid off.
To be honest, before the leg I was quite apprehensive about how this leg was going to play out, because I remember from the 2015 race how many times the whole fleet just flipped inside out leaving out the Med, so we knew it was important to have a strong strategy leaving.
And it worked. As strong easterly winds provided a slingshot for the teams, it was Vestas that led the charge, leaving the race favourites struggling to keep the pace.
Until Gibraltar, all the fleet didn't sail very properly. And before Gibraltar, and stay together and make the wrong choice to go to the south. And Vestas did something very simple. We all have very similar speed, and sometimes it's difficult to make the break.
So too was keeping the lead as the breeze went light. Yet Vestas kept their advantage to take the first offshore victory in the 11-leg race.
It's a leg kind of unlike any other leg in the race, really, until we get back into Europe in 9 months' time. So having sailed 1,500 miles, 10% of the points have already been awarded. We're glad to have them go the way they went.
An early boost for the team, and a reminder as to how tight the racing would be.
This race is going to be exceptionally tight. I mean, all the teams are good. I think this race is a little deeper than the last race, and then to have the talent from all the other boats in the last race kind of filtered amongst the current teams. You kind of lose some of the boat speed edges that people had in the past, and everybody's kind of raised their game together.
If the strong breeze through the Straits of Gibraltar had thrown teams in at the deep end, the opening stages of the 7,000-mile leg 2 from Lisbon to Cape Town was a baptism of fire. 4 days of full-on downwind racing at a relentless pace.
They were just sending it the other way.
The last few hours have been really tough.
Well, that's a bummer.
Whether it's white or brown or small or big, nothing good ever comes of a cloud.
Trying to avoid the big nosedive.
Having the time of my life.
The Volvo Ocean Race was living up to its reputation. But this edition of the event also stands out for the wide range of talent and experience among the teams. Among the crew lists, some have a string of world titles. Some have America's Cup victories to their name. Some have Olympic gold medals around their necks. Some have all of the above. And one discovered he had even more.
We've got some great news that's just come in from Peter Burling's parents. It was World Sailor of the Year award last night. Peter has won the award. He doesn't know yet, so we're going to go and give him the news. You've got to read this.
It's awesome. It's been a really cool year up in Bermuda, and it's just awesome to get the accolade. But we're just pushing hard here. Struggling a bit at the moment, but it's all right.
I'm absolutely thrilled for him. Couldn't be happier.
Ever the diplomat, ever the competitor. Life offshore is Burling's new world. And he's not alone. This edition of the race stands out for the new wave of young, accomplished sailors that have joined the teams. Many are less decorated than Burling, but they're just as hungry to learn.
I think the appeal for me was it was a completely different challenge. I love Olympic sailing, but I also find it really tough. I'm very stressed all the time, and there's a huge amount of pressure on myself as an individual to perform well. I really enjoyed the team environment on the boat, and it just opened my eyes to something that I hadn't even considered. It's definitely daunting. My longest offshore had been the prologue from Lisbon to Alicante, which was 4 days of light winds, nice weather. 3 weeks plus on the boat, that's going to be really tough.
My offshore experience started in maybe June, July this year, a couple of months after the Cup. I think the biggest learning curve for me has been just managing myself offshore, managing the sleeping, managing the eating. So then when you get on deck and you're there to make the boat go fast, you can do it.
I think there's massive similarities in some aspects of this racing. You know, managing your own expectations, helping to manage other people's expectations, and all of the technical skills. I think obviously on a much smaller scale, you know, it's the same sport. Olympic sailing has set me up quite nicely for transition into this kind of racing.
To start with, I didn't know what I can put into the team, and I think slowly I'm getting there. And I've obviously done a lot of races, imports and tactics with boat on boat, but I'm still struggling to look out of the boat still because I'm too focused in the maneuvers and making sure I do my job right. So for me it's been a hard part now, but I think with time we'll get better.
And while many would agree, the benefits of an Olympic medal hasn't always provided an instant advantage.
The first few days were pretty wet and windy. And I have to say, in the first day I was like, what am I doing here? But then it got pretty nice, close to the trade winds. It's always nice.
Mapfre's skipper believes there's a different reason to take these newcomers offshore.
I think it's not a matter of new generation of sailors. I think it's just a matter of very good sailors. Of course, helps to have people always, you know, talking in the meetings, not just listening, and people bringing a new point of view, and this just open-minded, you know, is very important.
As the fleet crossed the equator and the newcomers were subjected to King Neptune's induction,
Half decked with you! Remember, he was a handsome man.
The racing remained as intense as everyone had expected. After 10 days, just 65 miles separated the front from the back of the fleet. Next month, we join the crews at the end of Leg 2 in Cape Town to find out how they now felt after 7,000 miles.